Have you ever thought about where your produce comes from? Most grocery chains receive produce from various local and national farmers. In fact, there are about 3.4 million farmers in the United States today. But of that staggering number, only 45,000 are Black farmers. At the Better Buggy, we are a proud group of Atlanta-based Black-owned farmers, selling produce locally and nationwide. Our easy-to-navigate online platform makes it easy for you to make a one-time purchase or to simplify your life by subscribing to our weekly produce box. Whichever frequency you choose, you can order with confidence, knowing you'll receive 100% organic farm-fresh produce. If you're looking for a thoughtful gift for a loved one that they'd actually find useful, be sure to pop by our online store where you can snag a gift card your recipient can use to order their own produce and t-shirts. Ready to start supporting local Black-owned farms and making healthier food decisions? Visit thebetterbuggy.com now to start shopping.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was a story just published yesterday in the local newspaper on Edward Matthews. And this dude is a career criminal. The Mount Laurel police had police reports on Matthews for the last 3 decades. So he started his criminal career as a teenager. At this point, if you've been committing crimes for 3 decades, you're a career criminal. That's what you are. You know, why didn't 3 strikes you're out apply to this dude? Because he's been doing this since the 90s. 3 decades. So they knew about him for a long time. So this is the Burlington County Times, July 30th, 2021. 3 decades of police reports detail interaction with Mount Laurel hate crime suspect. Wow. So they been knew about this man. The police been knew. And I'm not surprised that this is coming out because the DA said they were investigating everything, including the police department that let him go multiple times. So, a white man recently accused of harassing Black neighbors here had more than 150 contact with the township police spanning more than 3 decades. Can you imagine having the cops called on your ass for 150 times? 150 times. So that's how many times the police had contact and had reports on this dude. That's outrageous. So this is what the record shows. And police calls concerning Edward Cagney Matthews were intensified before his much publicized arrest in July after multiple racial incidents, according to the records. They show 28 police calls involving Matthews this year, 22 in 2020, 14 incidents in those years involving alleged harassment, while a dozen were over claims of criminal mischief. Look at how many police reports they had on him. And they didn't want to do a thing to him? The reports were released Friday in response to the public records requested made shortly after Matthews' arrest July 5th on charges of bias intimidation, New Jersey's equivalent of a hate crime. Researching these records and putting them together in an organized structure took weeks. A police department representative said in releasing the documents, yeah, they're being made to do this, y'all. They're being made to do it. Matthews, 45, drew widespread attention when a viral video showed him hurling racial slurs and taunts at Black neighbors at the exit place condo complex. The video shows a township police officer addressing Matthews as Cagney and directing him to go home during the July 2nd incident. That prompted criticism over viewers who believe a friendship between the men allowed Matthews to avoid immediate arrest. And people are still in this area, they are still calling for that cop to be fired. That's what they're calling for. But Mount Laurel Police Chief Stephen Rediner, this is what he said. He said he was familiar with Matthews due to repeated complaints about him. No, you weren't familiar with him. You knew this man. Just like your cops knew who he was. You don't have that amount of police reports and you're just familiar with them. You knew a lot about this man. That's why the Mount Laurel police is in hot water. We know him for all the wrong reasons. This is what the chief is saying of Matthews, 45, who had multiple convictions for felonies and is currently in jail on the hate crime charges. Indeed, the heavily redacted police reports cover 717 pages, compiled over a 32-year period. So from a teenager all through adulthood, this dude has had all kinds of felonies, convictions, and all kinds of calls and complaints to the police department. 32 years. You know darn well, if this was a black man, they would have put you in jail long ago, even if they had to make charges up like they always do in America. They'll make crap up and throw you in there. They suggest Matthews was a reoccurring but not a constant problem for the township police. No, you didn't see him as a problem. The only reason why the Mount Laurel police is jumping all up and doing all of this is because you know it looks bad. You let this go on for an oblivion. The only reason why you had to do something now is because it went viral online and we saw you do nothing. Mount Laurel police responded to 8 incidents involving Matthews in 1989. Look how far back it goes with people complaining about this dude. 1989. The first year covered by reports. So the first year he started committing crimes, he had 8 incidents written up with the police department on him in 1989. That number reached 17, both 1991 and 2004. 12 police reports in 2017. The department just had 1 or 2 calls in some years and none in others, including periods when court records showed that he had been sentenced to prison terms for various crimes. So the only time he didn't get calls to the police on him was when he was sitting in prison. But once he got out, people were calling the cops on him constantly. This is outrageous. Only about 25 calls led to arrest. So out of 717, only 25 calls led to an arrest. This guy ain't right. He ain't fit to be out in any community. He's not fit. Y'all think, oh, well, if he was in this community, this guy is such a career criminal. Even if you put him, I bet you, even if you put him in an all-white neighborhood, he would still be committing crimes. He's that much of a career criminal. Wow. 25 calls led to arrest, with a deposition of those charges not immediately known. Prior to Matthews being taken into custody on July 5th, his last arrest came in May 2010, the records show. The records gave a range of reasons for 156 calls and incidents, including allegations of theft, threats, trespassing, burglary, and drug use. Wow. The Mount Laurel police, y'all have no excuse for letting this guy go on for 32 years, and you had plenty of record on him. He should have been behind bars. At the same time, a few calls are described as well being checks and missing person inquiries. July 5th took place at about 100 with 150 demonstrators held a noisy protest outside his home. Right, another reason why they had to do something. It went very public with this. It was on all of the news outlets. It was, everything came out. Plus the people were interviewed on the mainstream news, the newspaper. It just blew up so much they couldn't ignore it anymore. That's the only reason why the Mount Laurel police acted. If it did not blow up the way that it did, this man would still be free and they would be fine with it. And they know it. Many were angry. Matthews had not been in jail when police responded to his racist outbursts 3 days earlier. An interview earlier this month, Rediner said a municipal court judge had rejected a police request that Matthews be held in custody on bias intimidation charges on July 2nd. Matthews was arrested on similar charges 3 days later after the police obtained new evidence from a review of videos, according to the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office. Superior Court judge then ordered him to remain in Burlington County Jail. In the first incident on July 2nd, a resident reported Matthews was harassing her by approaching her front door, shouting offensive language and racial slurs at her, according to a probable cause statement for the bias intimidation charge. A Black woman also expressed suspicious that Matthews had damaged her car used by her daughter. The statement says Matthew came to her door cursing at her and denying being a suspect to the criminal mischief. It says Matthews later was seen at Gibbons' security camera, looking directly at the camera and thrusting his hips in a lewd motion while laughing. Well, that certainly ain't funny to that woman. And who the hell would want to see this big belly man doing that? So unappealing. A neighbor's cell phone video of the second incident shows Matthew shouting racial slurs and appearing to seek a physical confrontation with a Black man who had positioned himself to protect an older couple's home. An officer who responded to the incident called Matthews Cagney as part of an effort to de-escalate the situation so neighbors could be interviewed over the incident, Rediner said. So, ladies and gentlemen, the bottom line is they let this man get away with so much. Now, we're talking about a 4-year period in that complex. But as you can see, it goes way, way beyond those 4 years. 32 years. 32 years. This man has been a career criminal for 32 years. You see how, back in the day, remember, three strikes, you're out? There are Black men to this very day sitting in jail because they were just drug addicts and they got life sentences because 3 strikes, you're out. But you see how the same kind of person was doing crimes during that same era, right? They didn't touch him. So I guess 3 strikes you're out only applied to black men, huh? Career criminals like Cagney, they could commit a kabillion crimes and still be free. Let that one sink in. So, ladies and gentlemen, his court date is on August 25th. So I will be updating you as they put it out in the local newspaper, or if they happen to have it on the news, I will update you on this. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.